Hi, everyone, and welcome to this webinar for increasing diversity on the internet. My name is Amrita Choudhury. I am the lead from Asia Pacific for the Women Special Interest Group of Internet Society, and I will be the moderator today. So for those who do not know the WomenSIG, it is a global neutral space, and our main interest is in the work and empowerment of women in technology, looking at their issues and see how they can contribute more and reduce the gender gap in this field. Though we say that we are WomenSIG, but we welcome people from any gender to be our members. So let me come to why we are having this session today. While we have little more than half the world connected to the internet, women and girls still continue to face challenges in accessing and availing the opportunities and benefits that the internet provides. Even in the tech ecosystem, there are many brilliant women who are using the internet for improving people's lives. However, women are still unrepresented in leadership positions. To breach the gender divide online and make the internet more inclusive to women, collaboration has always been the key, and the work done by the Internet Society chapters and the special interest group of women during the past years has proved the importance of joining efforts to improve women's access and use of technology and to promote female leadership in the tech sector. So in this context, the International Women's Day 2019, under the hashtag Balance for Better, we want to celebrate the women or the men who have helped to improve diversity on the internet, especially in the tech ecosystem. And I'm happy to share that today we have Joyce Dogniez from Internet Society, and she also wears the Equals hat, Zahir Qasraw from Palestine chapter, Lillian Achom from AFCHICS, and Eduardo Tomé from Honduras chapter, who will share the work they have been doing for achieving greater gender diversity on the internet. Before I introduce Joyce, I would like to encourage you to tweet about this session. The hashtags are hashtag shine the light, hashtag balance for better, and hashtag IWD2019. So we'd like to see you tweeting whatever you feel about this session. And let me introduce the first speaker, Joyce. Joyce is the Vice President, Community Engagement and Development of the Internet Society, and she works with Internet Society chapters and members to take internet to the people around the world. She is also the chair of Equals, which is a global partnership of corporate leaders, governments, businesses, not-for-profit organizations, academic institutions, NGOs, and community groups located around the world dedicated to promote gender balance in the technology sector by championing equality of access, skill development, and career opportunities for women and men alike. So Joyce, I would like to ask you to share and let us know what ISOC's approach to gender equality is, and also subsequently share with us the work of Equals Global Partnership.
Thank you very much, Amrita, and good to see everybody. Let me start by, first of all, saying Happy International Women's Day to everyone. This is an important day for not only women, but the global community as a whole. And the theme, as Amrita was mentioning, hashtag balance for better, really invites us to think how we can build a better balanced global internet as well. So an internet for everyone. I also want to start by thanking the WomenSIG and the chapters, specifically Honduras and Palestine, and our partners that are joining today, AFCHICS and Equals. I think there's a couple of other Equals related partners, I should say, on the call today. So thank you for organizing and being here, so many on the call today. At the Internet Society, we, as you know, believe in a globally connected, open, trustworthy, and secure internet for everyone. Now, we also know that everyone, and I have a special emphasis on everyone, is needed to really make up the global network of networks that is the internet. But as Amrita already pointed out, women and girls really continue to have barriers to that, and so to face challenges that hinder them to benefit from the opportunities that the internet provides. 3.9 billion people are still not connected to the internet. That number is slowly going down, but having said that, there's still over 250 million fewer women than men online. When you look at the developing world, women are 25% less likely than men to have access. And when you go to sub-Saharan Africa, that number jumps to 45%. So even in rapidly growing economies like Asia and the Middle East, there's still 35% fewer women than men online. That's a big number. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of women and girls. And so we really need to act now. We can't wait. This is really, there's an urgency. Having said that, again, Amrita, you stole my thunder already earlier. We really we can't do this alone. So the fact of collaborating with each other, the fact of working together to bridge that gap is really, really crucial. And so Equals is a clear example of how that can happen. And so we know that there's still many challenges to close the digital gender gap. We did make some progress, and Equals as a global partnership is an example of how things can actually happen when people work together to achieve a common goal. There's been some significant impact already. So the initiative brings together several organizations to join the efforts on bridging the digital gender gap and achieve more equality. To provide women's empowerment, to have some more role models that are actively participating publicly in activities, and that actually supports the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. So each time we bring more women and girls online, we don't only take a step forward to achieving that gender equality, we also accelerate the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. Equals partnership started at the beginning of 2017 and was put together by 5 founding members. We have ITU, UN Women, GSMA, ITC, and I have a gap. Agustina, help me out. I'm missing one.
UN Women, UN University.
UN University, thank you. And we now have over 90 partners that actually joined the partnership already. There's a representation, it's a multi-stakeholder group, so there's a representation of governments, of private NGOs, of academia, of IGOs. So it's really a multi-stakeholder approach, and the collaboration is pretty amazing, I have to say. So the partnership has 4 areas of action: access, skills, leadership, and research. And then the not to be missed Equals in Tech Awards. I'll do a little call for action at the end of this, but I encourage you all, if you have some projects that you would like to submit to the awards, it's definitely something worth applying for and participating in. Now, to name a couple of examples, concrete examples of the work that the partnership has achieved. In terms of skills, the Equals partnership has recently launched a digital skills fund. Again, this is an opportunity for everyone to really look at opportunities to receive some funding for projects that support the digital equality in tech, in ICT. The fund is managed by the World Wide Web Foundation and supported by the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. And so we can definitely share the link to that in the chat. I'll post it on the chat after this. The second part is on leadership. So there's a course. I believe some of you actually have participated in some of the courses already. It's a course on business and leadership for women in the technology sector. And the course is to develop the leadership knowledge and skills of women entrepreneurs and women working in the technology sector, so that they can increase the competitiveness of their companies and to motivate their own teams. So this is aimed at encouraging women to step into women entrepreneurship or to actually develop the leaderships once they have their ongoing companies or organizations already. And again, thank you, Agustina. And again, we can share the link to the courses there. They're webinars, so you can participate at any given time, and there's a certificate at the end of it. The third part that I wanted to highlight is the research part. As we all know, there are numbers, and quite a few organizations are doing some research on digital inclusion. The Equals Partnership Research group has really looked at, sorry, Siri wants to say something. Just tell her not to disturb for now. The research group is really looking at data collection with the support of all the stakeholders. So it's really looking at bringing the various data points together and to get a comprehensive view of the digital gender divide and to map that out. So these actions, I have to say that the actions of the Equals Partnership has really shown that if you do things together, we can really do more, and we can be much more efficient, we can be more effective. And so I would, all of you, I mean, if you have an opportunity to participate in one of the activities, I would really encourage it. Today is also, as International Women's Day, is also a moment to pause and to think of all the amazing women that have done amazing things. I see a lot of you actually here on the call today. This is a moment also to stop and to pause and to recognize the amazing women and to shine some light on the great work that women are doing in ICT, generally speaking, and in the development of the internet. And so the importance of role modeling for women and girls cannot be underestimated. And so it's really important that we take the time and to actually celebrate women leaders and women leadership in the community. It does send a message to other girls and women that are amazing, capable leaders, but that maybe don't realize their potential yet. For that reason, Internet Society has 2 years ago started the #ShineTheLight campaign. It's a social media campaign, and you can look at some of the historical stories that have been published around that hashtag and on the website. They're showcasing women's stories and promoting the empowerment through different leadership examples of women who are using the internet to innovate and to make a difference in their countries and in their local communities. So I will stop and I will pause 2 seconds to actually shine the light on all of you, because I believe that it's the fact that you're here today actually recognizes the fact that you care and that you are leaders in your own capacities. And so thank you for that. Amrita, I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you so much, Joyce. You mentioned the importance of acting now and collaboration to bridge the gap, and for sharing the various funding opportunities which chapters, individuals who actually want to make a difference can avail, and also the importance of role models, which is very important. As in, women have to pull up women. It cannot be someone else doing. And when you have people in front of you who can actually show the way, it really helps. And that's something which we had done a study some time back, and we had also seen that there are very limited role models for women, which they need. The next speaker is, request everyone to mute your speakers, please. Thank you. So the next speaker is Zahir Qasraw. He is from the Internet Society Palestine chapter, And the Palestine chapter is implementing a project which is called Online Sexual Harassment and Blackmail Awareness for Palestinian Schoolgirls, ISHA, that aims to reduce cases of electronic blackmail and sexual harassment of teenage schoolgirls by raising their awareness. This project was recently recognized as WCS Champion 2019. So, Zahir, my question to you is, could you tell us more about the project and how it is helping to involve more girls on the internet in Palestine?
Hello all. First, I want to send my best wishes to all women around the world for their days. I hope next year comes with more rights that women can get. Also, I want to congratulate the ISOC community for this success, as our project is recognized as champions, WCS champions. The first of all is that as the internet spread and the incident of the blackmail and sexual harassment of the internet have increased massively, Palestine is not far from this. The bad guys around the internet targeted women for money, for extortion, and that they targeted also especially the girls new on the internet, especially the school girls about 20 to 15 girls. These girls are new in the social media and they don't know to deal with such incidents. Especially in our culture is conservative and anything related to women is giving shame. So in some incidents here in last years, 2 or 3 girls get suicide from this and paid a lot of money to these bad guys to stop their extortion, but unfortunately that didn't work. So our project began from this idea. We want to raise awareness for these girls to fight these attacks by give them the real and the tools that they can stop this. We start our responsibility by select about 50 schools and train about 20 school girls from student girls from university to train these girls from the schools. They start to visit the schools and make the lectures to the girls. About 4,200 girls received this awareness, and the feedback was very, very, very excellent. We almost get invited from other schools which we not selected as the target of the project to visit the school and promote the idea. Just 4,200 is not a big number, but just a start to help our kids, our sisters, to fight these attacks. The project runs over 1 year. Now we look forward to extend the project to cover more schools, girls, and that's a result of we want a result to decrease the incidents who face this type of attacks. This is just one step, and I look forward all of us take this responsibility and start such awareness to help our families and our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Zahir. It's a project which others also could look at and follow, because there is a need to create awareness amongst young girls and even boys who are coming online to know how to protect themselves online, because many of them are not aware of, what can happen to them online. While internet provides opportunities, there are threats too. So thank you so much. If anyone has any questions, they can reach out to you. And Ilda has also shared a, an article about the program you have undertaken. So next we have Lillian with us. Lillian is the project manager for Women Connect Challenge project, which is called Gender Sensitive Approach to Connect the Unconnected Using Community Network Models, a project implemented by AFCHICS and aimed at building the capacity of women to establish and maintain community-based and owned telecommunication infrastructure and provide internet connectivity to underserved communities in Senegal, Kenya, Morocco, and Namibia. Lillian, my question to you is, could you share with us what AFCHICS does and also give an overview of the Women Connect Challenge project you are implementing and the challenges you are planning to address by this program?
Thank you very much. Thank you for that introduction. Yes, I'm Lillian, and currently implementing AFCHICS project. I have been with AFCHICS for some time now, and we are at AFCHICS, we believe so much we believe in gender diversity for increased creativity and innovative performance of the ICT and computer science industry. What we do basically, we reach out to young girls and we provide mentorship to them to encourage more girls into the ICT industry. And then we also have outreach programs, and ISOC has been so much in our support in most of our activities. We also have a Tech Women Summit that we hold every year alongside Africa Internet Summit. We shall be holding the third event in June, on 15th June in Kampala during the AIS 2019. Talking about role models, last year, in 2017 rather, we documented, we profiled 10 African women in computing in Africa, 2 from every region in Africa, with the aim of inspiring the young girls who are planning to join the university, who are deciding on their career path, to be motivated, to be inspired by the stories of these powerful women in the ICT sector. That is what one of the projects that we did. It was actually funded by Afrinic. Also, on our outreach program, we've ever installed a computer lab in the School of the Deaf. This was actually funded by ISOC. Then we were able to get additional support from local organizations like Orange Uganda by that time, a Bank of Uganda, and other supporting organizations. So with the Women Connect Challenge, it's funded by USAID. It's under the newly launched WGDP, that is the Women Global Development and Prosperity Initiative that was launched early February by Ivanka Trump. So our project, Women Connect Challenge, the Women Connect Challenge is one of the initiatives which is under the WGDP initiative. Our project is gender sensitive approach to connect the unconnected using community network role models. Now, we are building capacities of rural women to establish and operate community-based telecommunications infrastructure and provide connectivity in form of internet access to underserved communities in Senegal, Morocco, Namibia, and Kenya. So with this, we hope to expose the communities to markets, market information, digital and personal services tool, among other initiatives. So we realize in Africa, for instance, where we are targeting, there is just like any other the general challenges that we are all facing when it comes to the gender-related digital divide. In Africa, there is still a huge number of people, especially those in the rural, women who are not able to connect to the internet. And we also have the general gender-related social norms that are affecting the African society. So gender-related social norms, men thinking that women cannot do certain activities. So with our project, under the Women Connect Challenge, we are building capacities of these women to provide them with skills and to give them skills, business skills, and to allow them to work as network engineers. We also hope that the local women leaders that we are training will inspire young girls to be business owners, community leaders, and confident users of the digital tools. So that is what we are currently implementing. The project is funded by USAID, but we commenced last year in October, and it will run through to 2020, April 2020. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lillian. Emphasizing on the outreach programs for girls in ICT you have been undertaking. The interesting fact that you are curating stories of role models in Africa and touching upon the gender-related social norms which normally exist and the activities which you have been undertaking in skill building amongst the local women. So the next speaker we have is Eduardo, who is from Honduras. He is an IT policy officer at Red de Desarrollo Sustainable, which is Sustainable Development Network, an NGO that focuses on capacity building through the use of ICTs, multimedia production, and community radio, and also manages the CCTLD for Honduras. He is part of the chapter team that received a Beyond the Net grant in 2017 to deploy his country's first community network along with lenses, who are the indigenous people with a strong gender focus. Eduardo, my question is, how are you integrating the gender approach to community networks? And could you tell us a bit more about the work you do with indigenous women in Honduras?
Yes. The gender approach for us in ICT, it was very obvious because most of our rural communities have a great deal of sexism, which means that most men usually dedicate themselves to working in the fields, and they're generally out of their households most of the day. So for us, trying to approach and embrace communities to work with technologies and having to call the village or whatever and have them sit down and talk with us and talk about their needs and how technology can improve them. It's very hard to get men to come because, well, they won't stop working because you came to the village and wanted to talk about internet. However, women had a bit more interest, and not just because they had more time, but because also they were more worried about the future of their children and what kind of opportunities the internet could provide for them. To give you a bit of more of a background on the work we do in my organization, we work a lot with communications, and in general, not just internet. We work a lot with radio and visual productions, because our mission is to empower vulnerable communities and help them get out their messages in the most efficient way possible. So in 2017, we had the opportunity of getting a USA grant that allowed us to get to this community. It's called Azacualpa. It's part of a Honduran tribe called the Lencas. And they actually approached us because they wanted to start their own community radio, which is actually the first and only community radio in the country. Well, community and commercial radio in the country that is fully owned and operated by women. So after we deployed the radio, we thought that internet was the next logical step for them to keep advancing in this communications sector. Primarily because internet could provide them with a platform to make their voices heard. To give you an example of how unconnected these people were, we got some data that stated that in the Intibucá department, which is where they are located, there's around 88,000 Lenca people, from which only 1,000 had internet access prior to our deployment of the community network, which was doubled by the deployment. So we worked with them, and we noticed that the women had a lot of interest in working on operating the network, but they didn't have too much interest in the technical aspects of the network. They were kind of afraid of going on top of towers and touching the equipment. But our approach was, first we had workshops with the community, not just tech related, but workshops just it was called the word of the people. I believe the methodology we used, and it was just to empower them and let them know that their voices were important, that their voices were what the messages they had we wanted to hear. And it was hard at first because women were kind of shy around the men of the community. They were kind of scared that since I told you there's a lot of sexism in this community, that men would start opposing their involvement in this activities if they became too loud or if they became too vocal about the issues. But we talked to the men, and they decided to take a step back and give the woman a leading role in this project. And we really saw that it was worth it, because in the end we saw a woman that 6 months before could barely talk to you. Now they were talking on the radio and on the internet about reproductive rights and how they had rights to more than just raising kids and staying in a house. So I don't know if anybody of you have been able to see the video. The videos we have prepared for this project. I'm gonna share them with you on the chat. So no, I think that would be all.
Thank you so much, Eduardo, for sharing the wonderful things you have been doing at Honduras. If I summarize what the speakers have been speaking all this while, most of the speakers in some way or the other has emphasized that the need for building capacity, providing opportunities to women, encouraging women, and the need for having more role models. So we'd like to hear from all of you on how do we improve the gender balance on internet. What, from ISOC's perspective, do you think, or what needs to be done to improve inclusiveness in our chapters? How can we have more women involved in our work? So these are certain questions where we would like any of you to share your views. request if you can raise your hand, it becomes easier. But Tripti, we'll go first to you because you wanted to share a bit about a project where you and Mishi are involved. So please do speak up now.
Hi everyone, happy International Women's Day to all the women here and to everyone else. I'm currently working on this project called Women in Tech. The idea of the project is basically to bridge the gender divide in tech spaces. We often see, including in India, that there is a lot of gender divide. When we organize conferences, even tech policy events, there are hardly women participating. The idea is to bridge that divide, to have equal participation, to have inclusive spaces. The organization is started by Mishi. She's a digital rights activist, and she's been a tech lawyer for over 10 years now. And currently we are looking at understanding the issues that women often face, and we are right now listening to people and understanding how we can actually make the change. We are organizing meetups to understand what are the issues that women face in offices, at tech conferences, at events. Of late, we've been hearing that a lot of conferences and events do not have a code of conduct. So today, on the day of International Women's Day, we prepared a template code of conduct that everyone can adopt. And in fact, a lot of people here are people who actually go and speak on a lot of conferences. They attend a lot of events. They organize a lot of symposiums, conclaves, conferences. So we urge everyone to take that pledge that we would not speak or attend or organize or contribute or fund events without a code of conduct. We have issued a template. You can find it out on our Twitter handle, that is Women in Tech 6. And yeah, thank you. And we would love to collaborate, partner with anyone, and apart from you guys who you think is present in India and would like to work with us, you may reach out to me at Tripti at thewomenintech.in. Thank you, Amrita. Thank you for speaking.
Thank you, Tripti. As you know, Prashant and all are always in touch with the ISOC chapter. So we would, in India, we would definitely, look at places where we can work together. So anyone else wants to, share some light as to how we could, improve what we can work with. Anyone could speak. Sarah, you're there. Kiden, Fratti, anyone who wants to share something, because we do have a gender divide. So if we do not speak up, it doesn't mean that we are not having anything. As in, let me ask you a question. Are we having a proper gender balance within our chapters, or are we promoting, the others in most of the chapters? Do you think we are doing adequately, or what more do we need to do? Sarah, would you like to speak?
Amrita, I'll help out. Silence is always tough on. Silence is tough on a Zoom call. I do think. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone, Zahir, Eduardo, for actually sharing the amazing projects that you and the whole community, local community, have been working on. I know from Agustina, who was in Honduras, and from Layal, who knows the project in Palestine very well, that you're really making an impact at local level, and so that is really what the Internet Society is also looking at through its chapters. So the WomenSIG, as you know, is a global special interest group, and so this brings together people from all genders that actually care about the digital gender divide. The intent is also obviously to have an impact at local level, and so the logical way of doing that through the structure of the Internet Society is to work with the chapters. And so I'm very pleased to see that we have so many people from chapters not only engaged in the Women's Special Interest Group, but also actually carrying out projects at local level. It's very hard to do that from a global perspective. We actually, to really make a difference, you need to be where the people are, and you really need to understand the local problems, the local barriers, the cultural barriers, the economic barriers, the whatever type of barriers we have, to break those down to then actually bridge that gap. The barriers to inclusion often are very different from country to country, from even sub country or sub community, and definitely regionally. And so the work, for example, that AFCHICS is doing might be very different if you transpose that to Asia. And even within Asia, the barriers and the work you need to do to actually break those barriers down is often very different. Even within a region like Asia Pacific, which is the biggest region in the world, are very different in the sub-regions. And so the work you're doing at local level is really, really crucial. So Amrita's question on do we have enough women representation in the chapters is a very important one. I think the honest answer is probably no, Amrita. I know you're not that well accompanied in terms of numbers. I wouldn't say in terms of quality, but in terms of numbers in your own chapter. I know it's probably the case in most chapters that women are still underrepresented or are active, but not necessarily in the leadership positions. So that is something that we are, as Internet Society, also committed to supporting, but we need your help. I repeat what I said earlier, we cannot do this alone. This is a partnership between the WomenSIG, the chapters, and obviously, us as Internet Society staff as well. We are, as you can see, you have a number of our staff colleagues here on the call who are very passionate about this topic. If not, I think they would not be on this call. But so I think this is a very important topic, and there's some work that needs to be done to make everything more inclusive. So I'll definitely invite the others to add to that, because I think this is a very important topic.
Yes, Sarah, Kiden, can you add what you are planning to do and what you're doing and what can be done from your perspective?
Hi, everyone. So I would just like to mention, and if Angie is on the call, maybe she can add on what I say. Last year we did an editathon. We wanted to add biographies of women to Wikipedia because we noticed, of course, if you have no one to look up to, or if there are no women for you to look at and say, wow, they made it and they were female computer scientists and they did great, we felt that we needed someone to encourage us that we can do this on our own. So we added biographies of women to Wikipedia, still on Women's Day last year. Unfortunately, some of them were taken off because apparently they didn't have enough references, but I think this is something that we want to change. We want to make sure that the women who have contributed to the tech space are recognized and we have enough references so that we have people who come after us to learn from us. But Lillian earlier was speaking about AFCHICS and some of the projects that we've done in Uganda and continue to do. We continue to encourage girls to take on ICT courses. There are schools we've gone to, and when you tell the girls that you can actually do computer science or tech-related course at the university, they are surprised because for them, the only people they've interacted with are probably their teacher at school. So some of them told us things like, I only thought you could be an IT teacher at school if you did computer science. So maybe they were not encouraged to do that. And we told them, no, look, there are many people who can do this. So I think there's a lot. If you look back, say, 5 years ago, I feel that we've made a lot of progress, and I know that there's so much that we can do to bridge this digital divide. But finally, I think we cannot stop emphasizing that we need male champions and we need the men to support us because we can't do this on our own. I think that's it from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Yes, as in if it is a gender discussion, it need not be only women, because men play a very important role in actually giving that position to women so that the divide can decrease. Angie, would you be able to speak now and share a bit more?
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Fratti. I'm the LAC leader of the SIG Women, and I just want to thank you all for being here. I think that I'm really proud of the work of the SIG Women is doing around the globe, especially in Latin America, where we have the last editathon. The editathon last year, it was really empowering to see a lot of little girls editing in Wikipedia. I also, in my personal capacity, I worked last year in the National Conference of Digital Activists in Indigenous Languages, and I think it was a really good experience. I'm going to send you the link after this. And we developed an editathon of an indigenous language in Wikipedia, and it was really interesting to see a lot of indigenous women working on Wikipedia and sharing all the knowledge and culture related to their own language here in Guatemala. And this year we are working on a Latin American festival of digital activists of indigenous communities, and we are still working with different partnerships, mainly Rising Voices, UNESCO, DW Academy, and other big organizations in order to promote digital skills, especially within indigenous communities, women, and young people in Latin America, because we think that we need to share their voices in the internet, because we most of the time only have an Occidental or global North perspective in the developing of public policies related to internet and reducing the digital gap. And we think it's really important to promote a broader participation of women, but also of indigenous women, mainly in Latin America, because half of the population are indigenous, and we think it's really important to bring up these voices and perspective. And we also are going to keep you update on these projects also. And I think that projects like the chapter of Honduras, they did a really good job promoting a local and communitary project, and not with a different perspective, just like attending to the local needs. And these processes, I think also they also give us the like a personal and professional fulfill, because we are promoting a different, especially local level, the participation of women and indigenous women in the internet, and bringing their voices to the internet in order to have a open and secure internet for all, which is basically one of the principles of internet society. And well, that's it. And thank you for your participation here.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing, the initiatives and more details. We have a question from Bukola, who says that what activities or ideas can WomenSIG share that can be replicated in our chapters to involve more women in our chapter activities? Because in most of our activities, we have more men being readily involved as compared to women. Yes, that is an issue, and that was what Joyce was also indicating to a considerable extent. So the objective of having this webinar is not, is to keep the conversation going. Actually, this is not just a webinar and we stop, interacting or collaborating. This is rather a beginning of our conversation, and we from WomenSIG, to begin with, would like to invite all the chapters to join us for celebrating the Girls in ICT Day on April 25th. Just like what both the Sarahs had shared and Angie shared, over the chat, we had an editathon with Wikipedia to, update the details of women in tech. We want to do similar activity this year, and we would encourage you to stay tuned, because we will be announcing the details shortly. And another thing is, we would encourage the US chapters to spread the word that interested people can join the WomenSIG, or you can share any of your queries or suggestions to us at sigwomenisoc@gmail.com. And if you are part of the mailing list, you would get the information, or anytime you want to collaborate on something, or we plan to do something, we would be happy to collaborate and encourage both men and women in your chapter to participate in these initiatives. I hope I've been able to answer your question, at least, from the time being to begin with. These are certain things which could possibly be done. Would anyone from the ISOC staff, anywhere want to add something? We just have 7 more minutes, but in case anyone wants to make a quick remark, Ilda or Layal or anyone, we are happy to have them. And August, if you want to add something, 1 minute.
What I wanted to say is, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to this, specifically Agustina. She's a person who's always in the backstage, and she makes all of us look good all the time. And what I wanted to say is, well, sometimes us not speaking up is what happens in the world, and we should really speak up more. We should just unmute that microphone and say something, and that's how we can probably guarantee our seat somewhere or our voice to be heard. This is all I wanted to say, and I wanted to say Happy Women's Day for everyone. And I'm very happy to hear all of your stories. They're really, really amazing stories, and I'm so happy that we, as the Internet Society staff, get to hear them and support them. Keep charging on and keep going.
Thank you, Layal. Ilda?
Thank you. I would also want to say thank you for the amazing work that everybody's doing, from South America to Asia Pacific, Europe, really Africa, all the parts. I'm very happy actually to be part of some of the projects that were mentioned here today through Beyond the Net. And not all of them were actually mentioned here, because there are many projects that are actually helping the women around the world. And I also wanted to say thank you for the men, because the men, sometimes they are leading these projects, like Zahir explained, for Palestine. So it's an initiative started by men for women, and I think it's important also to thank them. And I would also like to say thank you for the SIG women that is doing an amazing work. And I think until a balance between gender equality is around this world, we have to keep doing this work. And thanks God we have the chance to do that, and we'll keep doing that. So I would just would like to say stay tuned for the next Beyond the Net application call, and you can submit your projects this year again. And I hope there will be more projects supporting the women and the communities around the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ilda. August, we would like to hear from you, because you've been the person doing everything. But one thing important which Layal mentioned is, many times we women do not want to speak out. We feel that we might not sound so sensible, but it is very important that we speak out and we share what we think and we are doing. Else people will also not realize what we are going through. August, please, you take the last 1 minute.
I tend to speak a lot, so I will take the last minute. So, well, thank you. I want to thank you all who are here today for this webinar. This idea came, I think, 1 month ago, when we were thinking about what we could do to celebrate International Women's Day, and we decided that it was a good idea to come up all together and to share what we are doing. Sometimes we know that something is happening, I don't know, in Palestine and Honduras, but we don't have the time to actually listen to what others are doing. So that's why we wanted to connect you all here on this webinar. And also, I think that, and to conclude, I think that today is International Women's Day, and of course we are celebrating when we are taking an hour of our time to be here, to speak, to listen, because I think listening is also key. We need to listen what is happening in other regions. We need to listen what is happening to other women and to men who are also contributing to achieve gender equality. but we don't have to do it only today. Today is International Women's Day, but we need to keep the movement going through the whole year. And that's why I think that the work that the SIG women is doing and all the chapters are doing is going to continue throughout the whole year with different activities. So I also invite you to stay tuned and keep speaking and listening.
So thank you so much, everyone. I enjoyed today's session. I hope you all did. And we'll keep the conversation going. And happy Women's International Day to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amrita, for leading this today. It was a great session, and thank you for inviting us.
Happy Women's Day. Bye-bye.